Hey, welcome to Profiles. This time, we talk to the best tracker in the game, Clover. You most likely know him from his incredible 900 on air nuns, but he owns many workers on other popular tracking scenes, a 12k on extra control sphere, a 4700 on AA4, the list goes on. For this installment, we thought it would be cool if the community got to ask the questions, so we went to our Twitter, at aimmag and asked you guys what you would ask, and the response was great. With so many questions, we had to choose a few of the most common or the best questions, and here's Clover's response. Question 1. What inspired you to start aim training? For this question, he said one word and linked the clip. Rella. And this was the clip. Guess that explains it. Question 2. As a top competitor, what are your thoughts on people cheating for scores, like FOV changing, lowering sense, pausing, and so on? Does it take away from the competitiveness, and if it does, should it be banned? Here's what he had to say. Using below 103 OW FOV and pausing both somewhat invalidate scores to me. You're playing by different rules. Low sense, while obviously being way easier for precision scenarios, it's not something you can police. It is what it is. Question 3. Outside of aim training, what games do you play? A lot of single player games, but sometimes games like Fortnite or some casual shooters. Battle royales like Apex are unplayable for me. I don't mind Fortnite because it doesn't feel like a battle royale. Question 4. What do you think is the key factor that sets you apart from other players? His answer was that other than having the kind of unorthodox skill set of static and air tracking early, he also thinks that it is a lack of care or focus on scores. His metric of improvement comes from feel or seeing himself improve with his eyes and rather than stats. Question 5. If you could start your aim journey all over again, what's the one piece of information that you would keep? His answer was very simple and is that probably don't waste as much time on speed clicking. Number 6. What are your top 5 scenarios on Kovacs? And his top 5 was 1 wall 2 target small, PGTI voltaic, air, control sphere, especially extra control sphere, and Pasu. He also said that these scenes were fairly boring but had the most value out of everything that he's played. Question 7. Have you ever plateaued? And if so, how do you big press those barriers and keep on improving? For this one, he had a lot to say, so let me just quote him directly. I don't think I plateau much at all in terms of getting better. The same people I see complain about plateaus are typically the same people I see with this hyper focus on PBs and scores. It's just bad mental in my opinion. I think my metric for improvement is the key to how I can play for hours a day for years without any real breaks. But this visual improvement might not come naturally to most people. I don't know. If you find yourself plateauing much, I'd say recommending try to think like me, or switching to some other category, similar to what Maddie does. As far as I know, he rotates between certain scenarios, pushes what he thinks he can push, and then switches to something else and pushes that, which is something that I do as well. Due to the nature of how connected all the benchmark skills are, even though you aren't technically practicing X category, you'll still improve by it by playing other things. Question 8. What is the most common mistake you see new or intermediate players do? His answer was that the score focus that he just talked about in the last question, and also that new players seem way too predictive on scenarios like air or plaza. Also, he doesn't think that practicing static and smoothness at 80 centimeters is good. It's much more rewarding to practice on, let's say, 40. Number 9 and the last question. Do you think there is a diminishing return when it comes to improving mouse control? Or is there still a noticeable improvement in game even when going from, let's say, Nova to Astra? And his answer was that there is definitely diminishing returns when it comes to flashiness, clips, and highlights. But he believes that he's way more consistent over the entire session now compared to when he was just Nova. And that's all the questions. Thank you to Clover for doing this and allowing us to hear the perspective of a top level player. I'd also like to shout out the community here for writing up some of these questions. So, see you next time.